Welcome back to the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine. I'm Solomon, that's Brian, and today we have Scott. You might remember him from a previous appearance. He looks a little bit different, and he also has his co-driver with him today. So, Scott, please introduce yourself, your team, and who you got with you.
I am Scott Mattis, and this is Steve Fuller. We are the Team One Lap Purple People Eater Mustang.
Okay, now it's not a regular Mustang. You obviously Mach 1, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct. Mach
And
1 with the handling package.
there you go. And why are you called the Purple People Eater?
Well, the car's purple. And you may or may not know, being a Mustang guy, that Mustangs have a bit of a reputation with doing some exciting things, maybe running people over. So, therefore, the Purple People Eater.
They had it coming. So, well, and this is not your first one lap. So how many times have you done the event now?
This will be the third. First
Okay.
time in my own car, but third overall. Same with Steve. This is his third. First time not in his car.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I know Brian has a whole list of questions. So go ahead, Brian. I know you're chomping at the bit here.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
So, Scott, since this is in fact really your wife's car, do you have to send proof of life photos every day of it?
I do actually. She has claimed first rights on anything with the car, so compromises were made maybe in getting the car in the garage. So absolutely.
Now, what have you done to prepare the car for the one lap? Are you leaving it all stock or have you made some alterations? What have you done?
Tires obviously. Upgraded the brake pads, upgraded to stainless brake lines, put in good brake fluid, added in the fire extinguisher as required, and that's it. Other than that, it's all stock. It's got all of, I think, 650 miles on it right now.
Nice. Brian, are they pretty zoomed in for you too?
Yeah, I can see about 3/4 of Scott's face, and I see the shoulder of his co-driver.
Nice. There you
We
go.
need to zoom out a little bit.
I mean, if you want to be seen, might be a good idea. There you go. Now I can see you again.
Okay.
That's better. What tires are you running this year? So you mentioned you had obviously swapped the tires. So what rubber are you going with?
The PS4S,
Okay.
kind of the one lap standard mostly.
Absolutely. And being your third year, what are you expecting now, or what are you doing different this year than you've done in years past, or what do you plan to do differently?
Really, just actually having seat time. My first year, I didn't even know or have any inclination that I was doing one lap until a few weeks beforehand. Kind of got thrown into it in a strange car. My first time driving the car was in the autocross.
Mhm.
Last year, Pat and I had all the plans in the world to do an autocross and do a track day. Everything was against us. So again, the first time driving his car was in the autocross. So this year I'll actually have some seat time in the car that we're going to be racing. So we did a track day Wednesday and put in 3 solid sessions. So I actually have a feel for the car and comfortable with the car this time. So I think that's well prepared compared to the last 2 years for this.
All right. And what about your co-driver? So are you guys splitting up the driving duties? How's that working?
No, I'll just be doing the transit driving this year. So
Okay. So you're just along for the ride, chilling out.
pretty much having fun.
Okay. That's a good, fair thing to do. Brian, what do you got?
So, Scott, tell us a little bit about your interesting job and a little bit about your motorsports background before falling into the family that is one lap.
I guess so. My interesting job, I'm guessing, isn't selling commercial fencing that you're
No, that's
Oh
talking
yeah,
exactly
of
it,
course.
actually.
Yes,
What?
exactly. I
That's
want to
my
hear all
that's
about
my
cyclone fencing and barbed wire.
yeah, that's my full-time gig. That's what mostly pays the bills. My part-time gig is I am an instructor for Extreme Experience. Travel all over the country, teaching people how to drive Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches, all the cool stuff on the weekends, and getting paid for it. So it's a pretty good part-time gig.
So given that you're traveling around a lot, have you been to a majority of the tracks that we're going to? I mean, obviously last year it's a similar route. So, I
Yep.
mean, are there repeats or are you familiar with them all?
So, I've been to a bunch of tracks, but not like Road Atlanta, haven't been to. Nelson Ledges, haven't been to. NCM, I did a good portion of the track that we're doing with Extreme. We did the cut through that comes in about halfway down the main straightaway.
Yep.
So that part of the track I'm pretty familiar with. The backside, the sinkhole and all that, never been on. Hallett, last year on one lap, I think I came in dead last because I was just putzing around in the rain because I didn't want to wreck Pat's car. It was really slick. But last July, I was down there for 4 days with Extreme, so I got to blast all sorts of exotic cars around the track for 4 days straight. So feeling much better about Hallett this year.
Yeah, that's definitely not the way to learn it in the wet there. That's
No.
it's a treacherous track to begin with, let alone when it
Indeed.
gets wet out there. Yeah. Very cool. All right, so let's get down to the business of racing. Obviously, it costs money to do this stuff, and through sponsorships or people helping out, running, product, whatever it might be. Who do you have helping you guys make this happen? Do you have any sponsors, any charities that you're working with this year?
No sponsors really, just slaving away at my desk here making money. Self-sponsored.
Okay.
And a generous and understanding wife. Charity wise, we're doing the Iowa Donor Network again this year. Just getting awareness out there for organ donation, imploring people to get signed up to be organ donors. Something I've seen firsthand is a pretty amazing and necessary thing. So trying to get everybody up on their organ donation.
And if Scott sends that link over, we'll be sure to add that below in the description section of the video, so we can check that out and try some interest there as well. Brian?
So Scott, what is your road trip music playlist like?
Oh, I don't know. Steve and I haven't really talked about that yet. I'm still traumatized from 2 years ago riding with Nick Haynes, and he is very
Spice
country
Girls.
music oriented.
Oh, yeah.
No, Spice Girls would have been an upgrade. It was the same country over and over to the point where I think I had all those songs memorized for months afterwards. So I'm more of I like a lot of alternative. I like a lot of hard rock, everything from Foo Fighters to Misfits to Shinedown to a little bit of everything.
Very nice. I think with country music, it's got its time and place, but I think the more you listen to it, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your dog's going to run away, your wife's going to leave you, your pickup truck's going to run over something. It's yeah, it's not really good. So obviously now having done this for a couple of years and this being your third, you've got a bit of a lay of the land, and you've seen some of the cars and drivers, and I'm sure you've taken a look at the entry list. Who do you think has a chance this year? Because it really kind of is anybody's game. We don't have returning champions and returning cars this year. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously Tom's going to be right up there, not in the same car, but the dude can drive, and he's in a very capable car this year. Randy's showing up in something that's not an SUV this year, so I think he's got to be right up there. Those would be probably a couple of my top picks. I'm sure there's plenty of other fast cars out there, but definitely right up there for those two, I think.
And what is your goal? I mean, sort of apart from finishing, obviously, which I think everybody tries to do. I mean, where are you shooting for? Where would you like to be?
My overall finish, my goal is top 40. Okay. I've had at individual tracks, I've been down in the 30 range. And I've been well above that. So top 40 overall. I'm kind of hoping that this year being able to drive both sessions will give me a pretty big advantage over, doing my 3 laps, whereas a lot of teams, they'll have one guy does both sessions. So I think that'll help bring you up a couple places just on that factor alone, and being familiar with the car, I think will help too.
Fantastic. Brian?
What if you told your co-driver to look forward to this year as the co-driver, the transit driver?
Well, I booked all the hotel rooms, so we got a single bed in every room. He just now is finding that out. So uh, we haven't really. What's your music taste?
I'm eclectic. I'll listen to anything.
All right, I
Yeah.
like the sound of that.
So,
uh, we've got a pretty good group of guys that we travel with. Hopefully, we'll be able to transit with the same guys this year. Normally, it can work out, but as you know, anything can happen at any time. So, hopefully, we can stick with everybody, and that kind of helps out with that too. So,
Well, has he started doing his sleep deprivation training yet?
I do that for work, so I mean that's gonna be nothing.
Okay.
And what do you do for work? We already asked Scott, and
I'm-
he wasn't kind enough to let you talk. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a on the road mechanic for a company, and so I get calls out at any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I can't just stop at 5 o'clock. If the job's not done fixing the vehicle, I can't leave it on the side of the road. So we've got to work there till it's off the road. So it's been late nights, some early, whatever it takes.
Well, that is sort of the one lap mentality year round. So I think that'll work out
Yes.
well for you guys. So over the past couple of years, I mean, everybody sort of has special moments and memories. What are you guys' top memory from the past couple of years? And the thing that when you're going to describe to people the one lap or the experience, you kind of default to like this was something that made an impact.
I'd say last year was mine. Heartland Park, Topeka hit the cement wall, and just everybody coming around, making sure I was okay, letting me know that the car's just a car and that I would get it fixed. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much showed the family team type deal with everybody. I mean, so
Fantastic. Scott, what about you?
I think one of the things that it's kind of along the same lines that it's kind of the full experience and not quite as exciting as that, but the transit from Barber to Howlett last year was a pretty solid transit. We got in about I think 1:30 in the morning to the hotel, and we'd pre-booked all of our rooms, of course. Well, apparently half the people that booked rooms at that particular hotel didn't get rooms at that hotel. So here we are. We just got done spending a full day plus driving 700 miles or whatever the hell it was. We get to our hotel at 1:30 and we don't have a room. So we ended up begging them and got into a room that they were in the process of remodeling. So there's like tools and spackle all over, and the shower had junk in it, and it was one king bed. So I went in and took a shower, and by the time I got out, Pat had built a pillow wall down the middle of the bed, kind of staking our territories, I guess. So both of us were dead tired at that point, so we instantly fell asleep to get our 4 hours or whatever we ended up getting. But it's kind of the thing that it's what it is, but you roll with it, you know.
Absolutely. No, we've all had that. And Brian, that was last year, I guess, a couple of times where people had hotel rooms and they wound up double booking rooms, I guess, and people walking in on other people with key cards. That was happened a couple times last year, if I recall. So
Yeah, and it happened in 21 at Memphis at that Hampton Inn.
yeah. Yeah, we haven't always had the best of luck, but yeah, again, these days we get to much nicer hotels than kind of when I started doing this. Man, I remember sleeping in some real iffy places, wondering if we were still going to be there in the morning.
We did not book any Days Inn this year because those were terrible. We went to 2 of those last year, and oh my
Days
God.
Inn would have been an improvement to some of the places we've
Oh,
stayed
boy.
in the past. You know,
That says a lot.
Truly,
Pacific Junction, Iowa.
Pacific Junction, there.
That's my home track, so easy now.
Oh, so you go by the School for the Children of the Damned before you get into Mid-America? Yeah. That's how I tell people. I'm like, you make a left right after the Children of the Damned school, and then you're
Yep.
pretty close to it. Yeah. People are like, how do you know that? I said, don't ask. But yeah, when we used to do, transits of 900 to over 1,000 a day way back when, I mean, you truly would show up to the track, sleep in the vehicle, or if you found a hotel for an hour or two, shower off if you were lucky, and find a bed. But it was stinky, and and you really had to be able to tolerate the person next to you. And maybe that's why Brock has been making the transit shorter, over the years, except for a few. But yeah, there were few and far places, good places were few and far between. Let's put it that way, the way it used to be. So that all said, what's one sort of last thing you'd like to leave with everybody regarding your team? What should we be looking for? What's something we should know about you guys? When people see you on the road.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna have fun out there. I know that. So I mean,
we're just looking forward to seeing everybody again. I think we're both finally starting to kind of get comfortable with it. Everybody's pretty welcoming, but it's still kind of a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different places, and not a lot of time to stop and relax other than the beginning and the end, So plan on being social and getting in and talking to everybody, and looking forward to seeing everybody again.
Look at Brian.
Oh, I had something a second ago, and it kind of slipped my mind.
It's called
So,
indigestion.
Thank you. Yes.
So now that you're still, you're lapdogs now, by 2 years. What advice? Now you're still fairly fresh. So what advice would you give to the new teams? We have quite a few this year.
Really, for me, I think it would be ask a lot of questions, try and reach out to some people ahead of time. The One Lap Drivers page is a great resource for learning some stuff. And if you ask a question, you're gonna get answers, So be prepared for anything. Make sure you the pop-up tent. First year we did a tarp. Last year we did a pop-up tent. We're doing a pop-up tent again. I'm not wrestling tarps anymore, so those tents are lifesavers, I think. So that's handy. Yeah, just do your best Boy Scout. Be prepared for everything and anything and everything.
Sure. All right, Brian, you remember your question? I'm giving you the last question honors, man.
You took it just then.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
My
is
story.
gonna
I'm
be
sticking to it.
It's going to be all week, by the way. Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's the weekend, but I'm glad we were able to get to hear from you a little bit and let everybody know. And please make sure you send over the links for us, so this way we can hot link to your charity there, and then who you're working with, and raise some awareness on our side. But yeah, any parting thoughts before we sign off?
Just
Nope.
excited. I think we had a little pre-meeting last night with some of the other guys from here in Iowa, and we're all just bouncing off the walls, ready to go.
Nice. So we've got just under 2 weeks left until we see everybody in South Bend. We'll catch up with you there. So good luck on the preparations, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you there. So for the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, I'm Solomon, that's Brian, and here we have the Purple People Eaters. So be sure to check him out online and on the One Lap page, and we'll see you on the road in a couple of weeks. Take care.